Hello, my name's Charlene. I'm a mother of 4 neurodiverse children.
My name's Emily Templeton and I'm a public health nurse who works for Te Whatu Ora or Health New Zealand.
And kia ora, I'm Amy. I'm an allergy eczema nurse specialist working for Health New Zealand, Canterbury.
What is an allergy and how do people acquire them?
So allergies derive from our immune system. So our immune system is a part of our body which is designed to help fight against bacteria or viruses when we're exposed to them. And it creates special proteins which are called antibodies. So say you get chickenpox, your body will produce an antibody against that to help for future. What happens in children or adults with allergies, whether it be food allergy or an airborne allergy or sting allergy, whatever, is that the immune system actually makes a mistake. And so it identifies that allergen it was presented with as something that's dangerous, whereas we would normally not. Say it was peanut, would normally not be dangerous for us, but it recognizes it as dangerous and it creates a special antibody against it. That first process is called sensitization, where your body makes that antibody. And once it's made, it lines your airways, your gut, under your skin, and it just sits there. And so if we were to skin prick test at that stage, you would see the presence of that antibody. But sometimes people will get to that process and be able to eat the food and be absolutely fine with it. So they're not allergic, they're sensitized. However, if you then eat that food on subsequent exposure and you have an allergic reaction, then that's when they have an allergy.
And is exposure to the food helpful to overcome the allergy? So if it wasn't a severe reaction, just mild, would it be something where you would say, okay, we're going to just add a little bit in and just over time? Is that helpful?
We generally, if we know you've got an allergy and we've confirmed the allergy with testing, would get you to avoid that food. And then as we would monitor your levels over time and do a food challenge to see if you've outgrown it. Repeated exposure, there is immunotherapy goes along that line of thought, and that's what that looks like is giving small increments of something that someone's allergic to calm down their immune response. We use immunotherapy with our aeroallergens. So for people that are allergic to house dust mite or to certain pollens, you can use immunotherapy to slowly turn that off. There is research happening around the world in terms of food immunotherapy, but not currently available in New Zealand. So we wouldn't recommend people at home did that, and it may be something that's coming in the future, but right now we don't do it in terms of food. But definitely we do for bee stings and all kinds of stings, and we do it for our aeroallergens, and it's not funded, so it is a bit of an expense to do.
So when I was a kid, I never heard about anybody with allergies, and now every second kid is lactose intolerant, or you know. So what's going on that we've got so many allergies? Were they just not recognised?
There were always allergies, but we definitely seem to have an increase in allergic conditions. And there's different schools of thought as to why that is, and different hypotheses as to why that is in terms of research. And like you alluded to, there's lactose intolerance. So there's different types of allergies. And what we've mainly talked about on this are our IgE allergies, so our acute response allergies. But intolerances are a different type of allergy. And so they are one which you see a delayed response. So they don't need an action plan like Emily talked about. They are ones where the body has difficulties in producing and dealing with the lactase, which is in the milk. So in that kind of instance, avoiding those foods are helpful, but they don't produce an immediate response. It's often a delayed, like eczema the next day or tummy problems. But definitely there seems to be an increase in allergic conditions, which keeps me very busy.
With multiple children, you've got one child that has allergies and eczema and potentially asthma. Am I likely to see that in my second child as well? Is it likely to be genetic? Or?
So we do see it run in families. It's not a given, but it can run in families, and that's that atopic gene which we talked about earlier. So often that's passed down by parents, and it can manifest and present itself as different conditions. So you may have a child that has an egg allergy, and the next child may have a different atopic condition. So they may have eczema or asthma or a little bit of hay fever, or they may not get that gene altogether and not have any of those allergic conditions. But it is genetic, and it's generally you have higher risk if your sibling does.
So is it likely that the child's going to grow out of the allergy, or is it going to be something that's going to be ongoing for all their lives?
It is common for children to outgrow allergies, and it's more common for certain allergens. So your cow's milk protein and your egg are quite likely children will grow out of them. In contrast, your sesame, your seafood, and your peanut or tree nuts, they are more likely to stick around until adulthood. Having said that, lots of people can still grow out of those. And what happens is often we'll see as a child outgrows it that they're able to tolerate the baked form of that allergen. So they might be able to tolerate egg and bacon. And it's because the protein almost turns inside out when it's at high degree of cooking, and so then your immune system doesn't recognize it so much. So they might tolerate baked formed first before they're able to go on to outgrow to their lightly cooked.
So my child reacts to pretty much everything. What can I feed? Are there resources, cookbooks? What can I use to make sure I feed a balanced diet?
Okay, so the Askia website is a wealth of information, as is Allergy New Zealand website, and they can direct you to substitute out different foods for something else. If you go and have a look on the website, I think if your child is very reactive to a lot of different things, then it's really, really important to see a paediatric dietitian and work through some of those things with that dietitian.
Yeah. And is that something that's available, the paediatric dietitian, or is that something you'd go private for?
Either, really. There are paediatric dietitians available here in Christchurch, but some people would choose to absolutely go private for that. Yeah.